I think Pan-Arabism is very important because, first of all, let's talk about the word nationalism. When you say nationalism in the West, it's sort of like, it has a connotation and usually means like, white supremacist bullshit and so on. Obviously, that doesn't apply when you're talking about nationalism outside the West because many countries in the global South were colonized, right? And how did they fight colonialism? With nationalism. So when you say nationalism in Syria or, in Vietnam, it doesn't matter. It's actually very important to have that because that's how you kick out the colonizer. It's getting it's invoking the sense of the people, like the natives, the owners of the land, tes compatriotes, right? Your compatriots. It's invoking a sense of patriotism, of fighting for the country, right? And in that sense, you fight imperialism. Now, of course, Pan-Arabism, you have a few different philosophies when it comes to Syria. You have people that are Qawmi, which means nationalist party, and their idea is to have the greater Syria back. So, before the British and the French, before Sykes-Picot, came and carved up the Middle East, right? That's what the French and the British did. Syria used to be bigger. Let me give you an example. When you say Sham in Arabic, Al-Sham, it really means multiple things at the same time. So Al-Sham is Damascus, Al-Sham is Syria, and Al-Sham is the whole region. So the fact that these places and meanings are interchangeable for the same word shows you the importance that Syria has in the entire Levant. In English, it doesn't sound as good. So let's say Al-Sham. So you say Nazal al-Sham means I'm going to Damascus or I'm going to Syria. And of course, Sham means Levant. So my point is the Nationalist Party in Syria, I'm just kind of giving you an explanation of you also have a Communist Party and so on. But because we talked about the Pan-Arab colors, they are not interested in Pan-Arabism, this party. They're interested in Greater Syria, or actually just Syria, literally Syria, Sham. When we say Levant, this is the Levant here, this area. So we're talking about specifically Syria, Lebanon, Palestine, and Jordan, right? Now, Greater Syria is actually more than that. So, there you go. That's the Nationalist Party, the one we were talking about. The French and the British carved up these borders, right? Like, just to be very clear. They're the ones who carved out these borders. They have nothing to do with the people in the Levant. So they came and imposed these borders on us, on Syria, on the Levant, and decided that, this is a country, that's a country, no country for the Palestinians. Here, we're going to give them Israel. It's no wonder that people look at this shit and they reject it. They say, why should we keep the borders that the British drew, that the French drew? Fuck them, right? That's where it comes from. And that's certainly a sense of nationalism. But when you talk about Pan-Arabism is much bigger than that. Again, I'm going back to the map here, which please don't confuse what I'm talking about. This is the first Islamic empire. The Pan-Arabism does not include Spain or Iran or China. It's just the Arab countries, okay? So Pan-Arabism is more than that. And the Ba'ath Party in Syria, they're Pan-Arab. They're not for a greater Syria or Levant or whatever. They're Pan-Arab and socialist, right? So, and anti-imperialist. Those are the three main characteristics